I would say to 10-year-old Teresa, trust your intuition, trust yourself more. Don't be afraid to have a go. And failure isn't really failure. Failure is just learning for the next step.
Hello everyone, this is Dano, and today I have the special luck to have Teresa McLuckie with me today. Hello, welcome Teresa.
Hi Dano, hi everyone. Nice to meet you all.
Yes, thanks for joining my podcast. This is about you, and this is about what you're doing. And so the Gourmet Entertainer is a very interesting and unique brand from what I've found on my research. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about what you're doing at this in this e-commerce brand.
Certainly. Okay. So I'm based in South Australia. My brand, the Gourmet Entertainer, is a food development brand. And part of my skill set is not only developing recipes and products for retail and e-commerce being a significant element of that, but also I'm a graphic designer. So I create the product as a whole package from start to finish for the consumer for that market. One of my special offerings that I have is the red-fleshed apple. We grow that here in South Australia. We've got 5 growers in total, but they manage to produce a lot of apples, which is fantastic news for me. So I have a collaboration with another business where we add value to those apples. We freeze dry them and dehydrate them. I'm currently offering to market a range of products that are basically for the gifting, entertaining, drinks markets. So, for instance, with one of my products, I have actually just won a global prize. It is called Product of the Year for the dried fruit category. And so we, here in Australia, we are one of 40 countries who enter this competition every year. And I put my product forward and I won. So I'm very excited about that. It's a 10-gram pack. It's called Drink Food, and it's designed to put into your gins, your cocktails. It's a garnish product, but it's basically a 10-gram pack which contains 3 or 4 pieces of fruit, which basically means a night of gin for one person.
So that sounds amazing. I would love to try that one day. I mean,
certainly.
I'm looking at your website, and these fruits look really delicious. And this is something really unique also. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. And you won the competition out of like 40 countries. That is very, very impressive. Nice.
Yes, yes. So, we're winners from every country. So
okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. So, but these fruits can they be eaten? Are these like consumable? You can just eat them as well, but the main purpose is to put them in drinks, right?
So for that particular product, there's a mix of citrus and the red-fleshed apple. Some of the citrus is a little tart, i.e. lime, lemon, grapefruit in the mix. However, my kids don't mind chewing on those things as well. So you can eat them. They're just on the sour side, and they're probably more ideal in your drinks. Whereas the red-fleshed apple is great as a snack as well as something for your drink. The wonderful thing about the apple itself is that it is non-browning in the process because it's really high in antioxidants. And in particular, one antioxidant called anthocyanins. So, which is amazing. That not only is the fruit really pretty, it has a pink inside and really stands out as a natural product. It's completely natural, as a hybrid from pomegranate and Granny Smith, just from breeding over a period of 20 years to achieve that colour, but it also has those health properties. So at the moment, my focus is to sell the product as a novelty product with chocolate, with fruit mixes. I have a range of fruit mixes for snacking.
Mhm.
It's just that I won the prize for the product that happens to be ideal for gin and cocktails. I
Mhm.
also have a range of fruit, Australian fruit, and the red-fleshed apple on chocolate. And I'm currently doing research with the CSIRO, which is it's the known national research company backed by the government here in Australia. So I'm working on a program with them to create a nutraceutical from this apple, and particularly the freeze-dried apple, because the freeze-dried apple, the process does not lose any of the nutritional value at all.
Oh, okay.
So yes, so that's exciting for e-commerce as well.
Mhm.
So I'm
So
hoping to
it's
see that
also
come.
healthy. It's also kind of you could almost look at it as a supplement or something, because
Exactly.
all the nutrients are being conserved by the process that you're applying. Yeah, that's very unique. I mean, as I said, this is something I never seen before, and congratulations to building such a unique e-commerce business. Uh, your clients, I could imagine, would be bars, maybe. What is like your average? What is the audience you're catering to?
Okay, so it depends on the product itself. The the winning product would be ideal for, as you said, bars. It could be great on sort of the premium flights to accompany drinks on flights.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
It could be hotels and
Oh
little
yeah.
gift packs, hampers. Absolutely, the size of
Hmm.
the pack is ideal, and the price. I've placed the price to be extremely accessible, so that
Hmm.
hamper companies will really quite enjoy that
Hmm.
product as a
Hmm.
unique um, item in their goods, in their offering.
Definitely, yeah. So it's
Mm.
basically for for everyone who drinks things, and that's a a very wide audience, as you mentioned, like the whole hospitality industry and even airlines, and so yeah, there's a lot of potential for you to grow and reach out to all these people. So I guess that's the interesting part. I mean, how do you do that? I mean, other than having your store up, are you using your own marketing methods to reach out to all these potential clients?
Yes, I'm always looking for opportunities to reach markets. So the Win has actually offered me, I think there's 43 different media outlets, including national TV stations, etc., who have got my product on their list and being
Mm.
promoted across the country. So that's amazing. I'm hoping for some traction there. I only won the prize last week, so it's extremely
Mm.
new.
Wow.
And
So
yeah,
our
just to
podcast
say,
is right on time here.
that's right. And this is why I wanted to present today, to let you all know
Mm.
the amazing
Nice.
win. I can show you my prize too if you like.
Oh yeah, yeah. Please do. Please go ahead and show it
It's
to
just
us.
hiding behind me here, so
Oh,
I'll pop
okay.
it out there. There we go. There it is.
Wow, look at
That
that.
is my
That's
award.
impressive.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, you should have that in your background all the time,
I should.
at all your
There we
Zoom
go.
calls. There you go.
I need
Yeah,
to
like that.
redesign.
Very nice. Yeah, I mean, again, all my best congratulations to that. And you already like so. And recently, I heard you also are planning to expand to Amazon Japan, right?
Yes,
That's another part of your expansion plans. Well, that's
yes,
a cool one. Yeah.
yes.
So
I'm very
imagine all the
excited.
Japanese fellas. Yeah. So, I mean, I think they do drink, and I think they appreciate things like your like these like high class, very special, unique kind of things. I think that could be a good fit for Amazon Japan. So yeah, fingers crossed that all these. But yeah, we still need approval from the local authorities. Food and drinks and supplements and beauty all need to be approved by the local authorities. But it should not be a big problem because I'm pretty confident that your products would tick all the boxes. Nice. So now we know what Teresa is doing today. And whenever I hear a story like yours, my first thought is like, how did this person to get to this place? Like, how did this all happen? You know, what is the best story behind this endeavor and this entrepreneurial spirit? So, and that is where we typically take a little time journey to when Teresa was maybe 10 years old or 12 or 8, up to you. And let's have a look. Let's start from, you know, little Teresa and see how she became the Teresa who she is today.
Yes, okay. So when I was 10 years old and 8 years old and almost 12 years old, I was living in Vanuatu. I was living on a
What?
remote island. Yes.
Wow, that is a very unique. Again, everything about you is pretty unique. Vanuatu. I only have heard about this from a client of ours who is doing this offshore company establishments and formation, and Vanuatu is one of the destinations that, you know, this service provider is offering. So that's the only thing I know about Vanuatu. But tell us more about Vanuatu.
Okay, certainly. So Vanuatu is a group of Pacific islands. Most of them are volcanic. There are 84 islands in the country, and they're all small islands. 43 of the islands are inhabited, and it's a very tribal, small country, basically. It's still very, very traditionally tribal. And so where I lived on an island called Ambae, and my father was a teacher. He was teaching carpentry, so a creative mind. It was through the missions, and so we lived on a mission station there. We were my sister and I. My sister's younger than me, a year and a half younger. We were the only white kids on the island,
Oh, wow.
and yes, so we homeschooled so that we could maintain our Australian, curriculum because the curriculum's a little different over there. But we used to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning and start our study and then be done by midday. And then we'd be up the mango tree that hung over the house, or we'd be climbing a banyan tree with the local kids, or swimming down at Duandui Beach, swimming amongst the sea snakes and the stonefish and the coral. So it was quite a mind-blowing experience as a child in their, sort of not too young enough to remember everything. And the great thing about being that age as well over there is I also learnt the languages. So I learnt the country's national language, which is Bislama, and I still can speak it now.
Oh, wow.
I'm a lot older now, but sorry,
a little bit
older now, but and that's all put me in great stead. I can't really remember the local language for the island so much. A few words I can remember, but that's it. However, I went back there last year, just on my own, for 3 weeks on a food sourcing endeavour.
Oh.
And so I travelled around the country and met all of the manufacturers that I could find in not only the space that I was interested in pursuing, which is kava, but also into cacao, which we call cocoa or cocoa, depending on where you live. And I looked at vanilla that's grown there, a whole range of spices, coconut, of course, and a few other fruit things. So I really investigated what resources were there, and also at the same time reunited with my kid friends who are now the same age as me, living on the main islands there. So because I only knew Vanuatu people as a kid, that's who I connected with mostly when I was over there, which was great. I was inducted into the village again in my trip over there, and I was adopted. So I now have a name which is Quivira Duandui, which is a local language name. So that's amazing. And
Wow.
through my quest to there, I'm now also importing kava for the Pacific Islanders that live here in South Australia, and hopefully more broadly later on. So yeah, and meanwhile, I've tried to do a little bit of development with the some of the other products that I brought back with me and have since imported a little bit of. So I've been running some trials of different products because on the islands, with being volcanic, there is just such an amazing soil that they grow in. You know, the conditions are amazing, and there's no pesticides. It's just naturally organic by default. So it's pristine. It's just that, I guess, scale is the issue, really, that I'm trying to grapple with at the moment. So yeah, that's been an amazing project. That's been an extension of my 10-year-old self.
Wow. See, now it is all up. Yeah. So as a kid, you were living in Vanuatu, and then, I mean, but there's still a little gap between like being a kid. Did you move back to Australia at some point, or?
Yes.
I mean, right now you're in
So
Australia, right?
yes, that's right. So I've lived a many and varied life. In fact, I've probably had about 7 lives so far, and I've probably got another 2 to go, I reckon. So basically, we moved back to Australia just as I was going into high school. So I think I was just at the end of being 11 when we came back. And I turned 12, went to high school, had a mad, crazy shock to the system, coming back to Australian society and going to school here. Oh my goodness. So anyway, that's all well and good. I then went on to university. I studied a Bachelor in Social Science, and I ended up in the disability field for many years. I met my husband at the time, and he's English. And so we went to England, and I actually married him there and then lived there for 3 years. We then came back to Australia, and then eventually, about 12 years ago, I started this food business after having children, and after also completing my master's in business administration. I had a 2-year-old and sort of was looking around going, well, what am I going to do now? I don't want to go back to disability sort of work. So I thought, you know what, let's just completely submerge my family in food. That's what I did. So we were manufacturing, yes. So we were manufacturing from home, and it grew and grew. We were making 25,000 jars of condiments a year by hand.
Holy.
So, and we were selling them at markets, and yeah, it was a very crazy, full-on time. For 5 years.
Okay. So this has been around for a while. So you didn't just start yesterday, right?
No.
And how old is your business right now?
So 12 years old. It was
12
condiments
years.
only. Yeah. It was condiments only for up until 4 years ago, just before COVID hit. I collaborated with the Apple. Oh no, just as COVID hit, I collaborated with the cold store in the Adelaide Hills that grows the apples, and we created a business to add value to those apples. And it was at that stage that I really moved away from just doing the condiments. So we'd outsourced by that stage, outsourced manufacture. We'd outsourced quite a few of the other elements of that production and operations side of things, which then enabled me to become more creative and to find, you know, other new avenues to explore. So I'm quite the inventor. I'm quite, I guess, back right brain, really. And so during that time, I've also done my diploma in graphic design. And so that's where I've ended up from my past experience of creating the condiments, creating the recipes, scaling that, marketing it, going and doing all the markets, doing tastings in store, doing the distribution, everything. We used to do everything. So it's really given me quite a broad set of underpinning skills in the industry and networking as well. So basically, I know the whole food industry in South Australia. And so, which has been great for positioning. So
Oh,
since then, yeah, since then I've then started really enjoying doing what I do and creating and networking and saying, hey, have you got this? How can I get that? And what can I do with it? How can I make it something really special that people really
mhm.
love? And
Wow.
one of my, yes, and I've been proudly doing the Asia Link Leaders program all this year too, which is a year-long program. Well, it's 9 months, I think, actually. Just finished on the weekend, went to Sydney for the final part of it. And basically what that has done is, every year they bring in 50 really high caliber, um, very clever, but also very gracious and genuine and generous people who are in, Austrade and all all manner of um, great industry in Australia, bring them together, and then we all work on our projects for export. So my project over the year has been on exporting to China. However, when this
Mm.
opportunity arose to export to Japan via Amazon, I thought, well, that's a perfect alignment for my
Mhm.
business and for the products that I've been developing. So yeah, that brings me to here.
Fantastic.
Mm.
Fantastic. And I mean, this looks like a substantial business. Do you have a team or are you running this all on your own?
Pretty much myself. However, I do
Wow.
have an admin. Yeah, I do have an admin person. I just, she just deals with all the back end for me, which is great.
Hmm.
And I outsource as much as I can, i.e., my Facebook posts are done by a company.
Hmm.
I manage student teams through a program called Praxera here in Australia, which is another CSIRO backed program, and it's backed by the government too. So basically, teams of students uh, um, can nominate to do a real life project of research, whether it's market research or product development or something. And over the course of the last 3 years, I've had many groups of students to do work for me. So they've done research, and I've had one team build my website for me. And yeah, so
Oh,
that's been great. Yeah.
oh, yeah. I can imagine that your business is in high demand for students to join and participate and learn from you. Yeah. Very
Yes.
nice. Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
impressive. So it sounds so effortless to me. So it sounds like it all came natural to you, right? It's just your Vanuatu past, and then you're thinking about doing something, and somehow everything just came together. That's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it just fell into place. I think we say in English. That's wonderful. Um, but what do you think are the essential parts of your business to be as successful as it is today? What if you had to give someone like the ingredients, so to say, of your
hmm
business? What do you think are the most important part to make it work?
I think one of the hardest things for businesses is to make decisions around the ever changing environments around them, and to pivot quickly as well. So it's really difficult. I think sometimes you can be looking at a scenario and thinking, well, I've got to spend this much money in order to achieve that outcome. And you can spend too long humming and hawing and going, am I doing the right thing? But at the end of the day, you just, I think, you need to be able to react quickly to the environment that's going on with good judgment, though, which is sometimes really hard too, because how can you possibly know everything? So it's about taking calculated risks, being confident in yourself, and putting yourself out there. I think as well, more and more so, I'm taking more of a view of that whole, it's always been there, but more so of that interaction between people. Like, everyone are people. And it often, it's about goodwill and sharing. So often we can get too hung up about what's in it for me. So I think some of that generosity and sharing goes a long way. You've got to pick it well, but that is a huge element in people's success, I think.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it looks for me like a pretty nice recipe for entrepreneurial success, what you just mentioned. Fantastic. I think we have it was really inspiring to hear what you did, where it came from, and how you built this business. It's quite an amazing story for me to hear. If as you know, as the last section of our podcast, we always ask, what I like to ask this question, like if you could speak to 10-year-old Teresa, what would be your best advice to share with her about, what's coming her way?
I think very much so. It is about confidence. It's really been a big, I guess, stepping stone for me over the last 4 years, going through the transitions that I've gone through, about developing my confidence just to make my decision, especially being on my own, essentially, in my decision making. So I would say to 10-year-old Teresa, trust your intuition, trust yourself more. Don't be afraid to have a go. And failure isn't really failure. Failure is just learning for the next step.
Wow. I think I have that quote somewhere on my personal website. There's no such thing as failure. We either learn or we succeed. So we are pretty much on the same page here. Thank you so much, Teresa. It was a great pleasure to have you here on the podcast. I am excited to see where your business is going from here. And we will include all the contact details in the description under the video. So people who would like to try your products or get in touch with you will very easily be able to do that. And yeah, so I would say thank you so much for today, and we'll stay in touch.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Dano. Thank you, everyone, for listening.